All right, good evening, everyone. I am live. How are you doing this beautiful evening? It's nice to be live again after the conference. Okay, so the Young and Empowered, we just rounded up the Young and Empowered Children's Conference a few days ago. Were you at that conference? All right, so this is us coming to say thank you to all the parents and all the children who joined us at the conference. It was such an amazing, gathering of young people and of parents. It was a beautiful and transformational, experience. We have been getting messages from parents. We've been getting love notes from children, saying how the conference blessed them, and how they had a good time at the conference. Now, the conference was just a 2 day conference. All right. So we had a 2 day conference. Now, because of the group of children that we work with these days, we put at the back of our minds, right, what works for these children. We tailor what we do to meet the needs of the young children that we work with. We work with children between ages 5 and 10. So, in everything that we do, we tailor it to meet the needs of these parents. And that's what, even as parents, right? That's what we should do as parents. Pay attention to, the group of children that pay, pay attention to the child that you are raising. All right, so if you're raising three children, you're paying attention to them as three individuals. Now when you pay attention, then you will tailor your parenting to meet the needs of that child, and most time it is the child who guides you to what it is that they need. So at the mastermind, at the children's mastermind circle, of course that conference was powered by the children's mastermind circle. So because we work with this group of children, okay, we've narrowed it to even, in the past we worked with children up to 13, and when they turn 14 we send them off to teenage programs. Now we want to focus, right? We want to focus on the foundation. So it wasn't a fluke that we picked the theme for the conference this year. It was deliberate. We wanted to push that message out. We wanted to say out very loud that we have positioned ourselves to help you work with your 5 to 10 year olds to build a solid foundation, for these children. Now, this is also because we understand that the first 6 years of a child's life, right, are very critical times in the child's development, right? In the child's development, in the child building their character and, all of the things that they need for a solid foundation. This is that time, the foundation phase of the child's life. A lot of times, this is when you will have the children in preschool, right? This is when you're preparing them for preschool. This is when they are going through that whole process of preschool, preparing them for real school or preparing them for full-time, school. So we want to catch, or we want to come in somewhere right there where the child is still in their formative years. So the child is 5 and we are in. The child is just coming out of that toddler phase, and we come in. Now, what's happening here is the child is in the window period for a lot of skills. The child is in that place when nature is pulling them to learn a lot of skills, survival skills, learn a lot of skills that they would need to navigate the world, right? And even when parents miss it, because we have too many of us who miss it during this phase, maybe because of ignorance, or we don't know how important the first 3 years and then 6 years of a child's life is. So we miss a lot during that phase. Now, when we come in at the point that the child is 5, it means the child is still in that window period. And so we can help, encourage and push you, and spur you and the child to do more with the child during this phase. Now, in the next cohort, we want to focus on building habits. We want to focus on building habits. We want to focus on passing down convictions to these children, right? We want to focus on passing down convictions. So this year, we are going to be reaching out to parents. We are going to be diving into a bit of what your values are. So when the children are coming, we want to have an idea of, a little idea of what your dynamics are, what your values are, what the vision you have for the child is, so that we can incorporate this into what our curriculum for the children, basically. So we want to stay in there, grind in habits. We want to stay in there, place convictions, right? We want to put convictions in place. We want to stay in there and build character. We want to stay in there and begin to introduce the skills that the children need to navigate. We want to stay in there. So a lot of our tools are going to be centered around building the children up this way. Now, because these children are in that phase, the first 6 years of their lives, and of course, the next phase after that, the second window of opportunity that you have. Because when we've missed the first one, we want to make sure that we can begin to nip things in the bud, or we can begin to unlearn or help them unlearn some of the things that they've learned in the first 6 years of their lives. Okay, or we want to ensure that we begin to put things in place, a lot of the things that were not put in place in the first 6 years of their lives. And at this point, the children are still malleable. At this point, the children are still willing to learn, right? Are still, at least it's still better at this stage than for us to leave it until they become preteens and teenagers. So we want to stay right in there, right? So that by the time we work on these areas that we've talked about, okay, we work on their convictions, we work on their, habits, we work on character, we work on, introducing skills that they need to navigate. We want to cultivate the habit of reading. We want to do all of these things in fun. We're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry. We're not, that thing that you see amongst parents of teenagers or parents of preteens. There's already that fear of, oh, okay, my child, I can't recognize what's going on with my child anymore. Oh, my child has changed. What in that phase, you're not in that phase where the child is already, adverse to, personal development. We're still in the place where the child is excited. We're still in the place where the child wants to do more, where the child wants to please you. So we want to maximize that phase. We want to maximize that window of opportunity. We want to take advantage of the window of opportunity and build a solid foundation, right? And then we want to create the kind of accountability that is close and is very consistent. So, of course, the mastermind is known for daily accountability, all right? And that's because we know the group of children that we work with, especially because we have the 5-year-olds and all of that. These ones are the ones where you are still trying to, you're still trying to get them to that place where they internalize the things that you are teaching. You're still in that place where repetition is a big deal. All right. You're still in that place where you want to start building the foundation for mastery. So no, this is not the time that we know that this is not the best time for doing anything once in a while. We know that this is not the best time, for leaving the child with, little accountability. This is a time for full-time accountability. All right. This is a time where, repetition is a goal. So we want to stay in there and create an accountability system that allows the child repeat. But then again, the child is doing it or taking it in little bites. Okay. I remember one of our parents giving a testimonial saying that in the mastermind, what we do is we teach the children in little bites, one day at a time. So at the end of the day, it's precept upon precepts. And this is it. It's actually really very deliberate because we know the group of children that we are raising. So what are we saying? What we are saying is it's it's, I mean, the mastermind is a real foundation ground. And this year, more than, ever, we want to sit in that foundation, in building that foundation, in building that solid foundation that the children need. We want to sit in there and ensure that we do not just teach them, we do not just get them to do. We want to get into that place of programming so that we can help them understand the why. We can help them begin to enjoy these things that we are teaching them and get them to the point where they are, where they are convinced, right, early enough. They're convinced at 7, they're convinced at 5, 6, 7, 8 about what it is that they are doing, why they are doing it, why they make certain choices, and all of that. We want to send the children off, after 10, when they're 11. We want to send them off to, teenage programs, very confident of what it is that we have done with them. All right. So we don't want a 6 months, 1 year. We want the children to stay in. By the time the child has stayed in through a year, 2, 3. Come on now, right? Come on now, right? So we want that whole grooming thing, right? Strong foundation. And then after that, they can go to, whatever program. And we know that the foundation is solid because the foundation is everything. The foundation is everything. So we want to give not just the lessons that they need. We want to ensure that they are learning, and we want to ensure that it is effective, and we want to ensure that the accountability is close enough for it to be effective. So I tell you, the mastermind, just when you think mastermind, just think foundation. Just think think the partner or collaborator that you have that is going to sit with you and help you walk through building a solid foundation for your little ones, for your young children. That's what the mastermind is. All right. So I cannot, while we were preparing for the conference, and we're going through the conference, I said it in a number of posts that I've written. It was a proud matron moment for me, right? Because we say this all the time, but even you, as you say it, right, you don't even realize the gravity of what it is that you have done, right? The gravity of what it is that, or the size of what we have done in the mastermind, until opportunities like this or times like this come up. That's when we realize, how much we've put into the children and how well they are responding, okay, or they are manifesting based on what it is that we've been learning, or we've been working on or doing with them in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I was saying today that we planned this conference. And at some point, while we're planning or before the conference, at some point we're going to let this year's conference slide. We're actually going to skip this year, and continue with the conference next year. All right. But then again, thank God for thank God for my mentor and the people, around. We realized, there is no need. We would do what we have to do. And so the planning, we got back, on track, planning and all of that. And I realized that, this year is a time that we had like the shortest time to put into planning the conference. Yeah. And this is the year that we have the least, we had a small team, right? And the least, the small team, let me just leave it at that. And so the children, the children had to take responsibilities. Anyway, it's always been a thing for me, right? I don't see that a child cannot. When I see children, I see, people with potentials, right? When I see children, I see people with potential. When I see children, I see people that have the capacity to be stretched. I see people who are willing, and that's the most important part of it. I see people who are curious and are willing to stretch themselves because of the need to explore and the need to get answers to the things that they are curious about. So it's easy to get them, to challenge them basically. And this is what we do at the mastermind. We challenge these children because we know that they are in their season where they can take on challenges. It's when we don't challenge them, they now get used to not being challenged. That is when it now becomes a problem when they are teenagers. And all of a sudden, you're bringing challenges their way. They're already in that space of, oh God, just let me have the soft life, and all of that. But if you stretch these children and we help them build skills in resilience, resilience, discipline, and all of that, you realize that it's easy for them to take on things. All right. And so apart from, um, our graphics, team did or created, you know, almost every other thing was done by, by the partners, right? From the voice note, when we put out for the children to volunteer to do the voice notes, we had the 5-year-olds, just turning 6. We had 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. In fact, I think it was just one voice note, okay, 2 voice notes that were taken by senior partners, right? 2 voice notes that were taken, I mean, yes, voiceovers. Sorry, why am I saying voice notes? So it was only 2 voiceovers of the 16 voiceovers that we had that was taken by senior partners. In this case, I mean 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Every other voiceover was done by the children 10 and below, right? Even the youngest one was 6-year-old, and these children took the challenge. They knew what to do. Okay, they knew what to do. They knew where to go and how to go about, putting the voiceovers together. And they came. And of course, the lead partner, Kamsi, our son is 15, he did created the videos, and all of that. At some point, we were looking for someone who would do something that is really off, and all of that. And then I asked myself, why? We have resourceful children in the mastermind. That's the truth. We have resourceful children. We have tech savvy kids, and because we have a system that encourages them to hone these skills every week, we have a system that encourages them to work on these skills. They don't just hone the skills, they actually project it, they actually showcase the skills. We have brought the children up, we have raised the children to the point where they realize that when they showcase the things that they know how to do, they're actually not bragging or showing off. They are now understand that for every time you showcase your talents or something that you are working on, you are actually helping the next person. You're challenging the next person to do more. You're challenging the next person to dare. You're challenging the next person, to look inward also. And because of the body system that we run in the mastermind, the children are constantly thinking about their bodies. They're constantly thinking about the next child. The children are constantly thinking about why the next child is not able or isn't doing what they're supposed to do. So they're constantly checking on each other. So yeah, we have a robust system. That's what I can say to you. We have a robust system, and it is one that every child, right, every child should, if your parents, you're hearing this and you have a child between 5 and 10, they should get into the system. They should get into the system. And I hope by now you are not even in that space. Oh my goodness, why now? I hope by now you are not still in that space where, sorry, we'll get that up in the next 2 minutes. You're not in that space where you don't understand or you are still questioning whether your children should do mentorship or have mentors. Don't do that. Please, parents, let's not do that. If you have children, I mean, the moment they can sit and they can take instructions and they can push themselves, then it's time for them to be mentored by someone. You need that significant other adults in their lives that the children can speak with, that the children can feel free with, that the children can, talk to when they are not talking to you or when they want to talk to someone else, apart from you, or someone else in addition to speaking with you. Don't be in that space, don't be in that space where you are doing I don't want my children to talk to strangers. I hope you're not even in that space, right? What you need to do is look for, people who align with you, Look for people who share common values, who share, you know, common values, share, look for people who share common values, who can reinforce a lot of the things that you teach, who have same convictions or similar convictions as you, and and can connect with your child. The moment you find them or find that person, then get the child to be mentored by someone who knows what to do with the child, especially considering how old the child is. They are mentors for different levels or phases, and different areas of the child's life. So please find a mentor for your child. And we are saying to you, the mastermind is a robust system, especially for your 5 to 10 year olds. Bring them to us. Let us build and walk this journey with you. All right. So, raising resourceful children cannot be overemphasized, and that is what we do. And we had like real proud moments during this conference, right? Just working and seeing how far the children have come. All right. So, this was supposed to be a short impromptu, just so we can say thank you to everyone who joined, say thank you for all your efforts. I mean, they thank you for getting the children on board and getting them to do, and participate in the conference. All right. Thank you very much for trusting us, you know, to work with you and all of that. So the conference is over. What's next? What's next is get your children into a system. The conference is next. Done. What's next? Get your children to read books. Let them read books. Get them to develop themselves. Get them to understand, okay, a lot of the things that were taught in the conference, it is now time to start applying. Okay, Coach Precious talks to them about becoming being leaders. She spoke to them about being leaders, spoke to them about the fact that not every reader is a leader, but every leader is a reader. So every time you find a leader, you find out that the leader reads. Okay, so get your children. We have amazing books. We have beautiful books. This is Unlocking Excellence. Your children between 7 and 13 can read this beautiful, amazing book that talks about the children succeeding is a guide to success beyond the classroom. So success that is not just about school grades and passing and all of that. You want to be successful in all areas. This book talks about how you can win in different areas of your life beyond just school. Okay. We have distributors in most cities around Nigeria. Our books are on Amazon also. Of course, you can get soft copies from our seller store also. But we have hard copies in major cities in Nigeria. Just reach out and we will tell you where we have one of our distributors for you to pick. In Abuja, we're also in Abuja, and you can reach out to us. Beautiful. This book is all about family values. It's such a great family book. It's grandma and her grandchildren coming over for the summer, and it exhibits, beautiful family values, and it's something that every family should have in the library for the children. Oh, young and money smart. All right, by the way, we have a challenge that is coming up next month. No, in June. We have a challenge that is coming up in June. That challenge is becoming financially smart child. We will take the children through a 14 days challenge where they will practice a financial, we'll take them through a process of building financial skills where they will have a challenge for every day, and then we build one precept upon the other, practical, and at the end they will have tangible results, and we will grade them based on how well they've done. We do amazing challenges for children. We do a reading challenge in August. You want to prepare for that word. It's for children 0 to 10. Amazing, beautiful. It's fun, it's exciting, it's every day of laughter in your home. And this year is going to be even bigger and better. So we do those challenges, We even have a challenge for May that is coming up. It's about how you can prepare your environment for your children, to invite your children to play. We will teach you for 2 weeks. We will give you, we will help you create activities that you just need to put in place, and that will draw your children to learning, and you can learn and build different areas of their learning through inviting them to enjoy learning naturally because of the stimulation and how you create the environment for them to learn. It is a huge way to get your children to learn through playful, play-based learning. It's a good way to introduce play-based learning in your home by knowing how to create your environment, or create an environment that invites your child to play. This is huge for toddler parents. If you have parents, you have children 0 to 6, even your 7 to 10 year olds, you can draw them to being creative, explorative, speaking, doing presentation, just by knowing how to create your environment for learning. So you want to jump in on our challenges. That's what we do. We do challenges. So we don't just come in and do things 1 2 days because of the group of children we work with. So we have to lock in whatever we're doing. We keep you in there for about 7 or 14 days so that you can build the skill to support the children, and the children can, build that skill and take it on. Oh, Bedtime Stories for Champions. This is, our first book. It's a bestseller, amazing, inspirational stories of young people who are already changing the world and making a difference. And of course, Christmas Stories for Champions. It's not just, it's not a faith book or anything like that. It's full of African stories about what Christmas was like when we were growing up. So it's not just Christmas, it can be read at any point. See our books. This is what our books look like. We have lovely, colorful, and beautifully illustrated books. You can take it away from us. All right. And then we have Playtime Stories for Champions. So you've heard me say play, play, play. All right. So Playtime Stories for Champions is another book. So these are all play-based activities that you can do with your children. We have over 20 of these activities. These are activities that you can create in your home, outdoor, for your children. 0 to 10. Beautiful, amazing book. Okay. And yes, we have 10 books altogether, and 10 books for children. So you can order any of them or all of them. Skill Up series. We have a Skill Up series, and then we have the Stories for Champions series. 10 of them all together. All right. So thank you very much for joining me today. We have this 360-day planners for 360-degree planner for parents. This is a planner that you can use to drop notes for your children. All the notes you drop for them can be here. You fill in their milestones, when the child had their first laugh, when the child had their first debate, when the child won their first. This one is a legacy book. You create this, you fill all our children's love notes, that we've written. We just stick them to this, somewhere when they are 25 and 30. I will just 25 or thereabouts. When they're about to get married, I'll hand it to them. And they can actually look through and see, what we did with them, and they can actually use it as a manual even in their own parenting. So we got you. We have lovely, beautiful resources for parents, and we have just one parenting book. It's called Mentor Parents, where I chronicled, my journey as a young parent, right? Raising our son, right? And a lot of the choices that we had to make, when our son came, and how we started our intentional parent journey. So this is for a young parent, okay? This is for a new parent. This is for a parent of a toddler. It's another beautiful book. All right. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I just wanted to come in here for a little chit chat to say thank you, right, for joining us. And you can catch the replay of that conference. All you need to do is join our parent information group on YouTube. We'll share the link, perhaps, or if you check in the group, you'll see the link. It's everywhere. Just join, and right there, we've been sharing the links for you to go and watch 9 amazing sessions, beautiful sessions, 5 sessions for the children. No, yeah, 7 sessions for the children and 2 parents roundtable sessions for the parents. Okay, so you want to watch it. So there are few, just 9 of them, and you are done. But then again, you will be transformed after going through the conference. All right, so thank you again. It's exactly 29 minutes and I'm out of here tops at 30 minutes. Thank you for joining me this evening. If you caught the replay, know that we're saying thank you for joining us at the conference, for being a part of the conference, for giving your children the opportunity to learn from us. Okay, and what's next? Get the children to start reading books and pushing themselves. And yes, if they are between 5 and 10, get them into the children's mastermind circle where we want to work with you. We want to partner, collaborate with you to build a solid foundation for these children before we send them off as preteens and as teenagers, right? To go and be productive. We will leave them resourceful that when they get into their teenage phase, they are ready to be productive and impact, a whole generation. Thank you for joining me this lovely evening. Have a fantastic night rest and enjoy the weekend as it comes. Thank you again. So we have the information on your screen. Sorry, I didn't add that. So to join the mastermind circle for this cohort is just 80,000 naira. 80,000 naira for an entire year. So what it means is what? 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 is not even up to 10,000 per month. So what it means is you're paying about 7,000 something per month to have us work with your children from first day to the last day. Friday, I mean Sunday, Monday, weekend inclusive. You have access to us when your child is in the mastermind circle. The child has got access to us. We have every quarterly we have one-on-one session with the children. When there is a need to step in at any point and you reach out, we come through, with the children. We have children in our hearts, and so wherever they need us, we show. When the children have special projects, we are part of it, and all of that. So it's such an amazing relationship that we will be building with you. All this for just 7,000 naira per month. All right. So at the end of the day, it brings it to about 80,000. But you pay this at once. Not at once. Now you can pay 10,000 naira to book a slot for your child right now, and then pay gradually from now till September 1st. So yes, the mastermind is school. The mastermind is like a school. It's a personal development foundation school. Call it that. It's foundational school or foundation school for personal development, where we introduce your child to the concept of personal development, mentorship, and accountability. So by the time the child goes through this from age 5 to age 10, there is nowhere you will take the child to, where the child has to be mentored or held accountable, that the child will not glide into and be happy about, because now he understands the concept, he's grounded in the concept, he understands a lot of these things, he's already thinking, beyond just playtime and movies and gaming. The child is already thinking, I mean, thinking on a broad spectrum. The child is already thinking personal development. The child has already built certain skills that, will help them be resourceful. The child is already resourceful, and all of that. So this is it. We need to start early. We have established that one of the biggest challenges that we have in this generation with our Gen Z, the same challenge that our parents had with us, and what we have with our Gen Z and Alpha generation and generations after, is the fact that we don't start early. We come to the party too late. So that's why we want to change the narrative. Let's start early. Let's start with the children early, so that by the time they understand what society is saying, they are already grounded. All right. Thank you again. I think I must go right now. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye. Bye.